Yandere Simulator is interesting. A couple weeks ago, I made a video talking about the troubled development of the game and my attempt at playing the base game. It didn't go that well. Overall, you guys seem to enjoy it, however, something you might have noticed is that I didn't talk about 1980s mode. I'll admit, upon seeing this option at startup, I thought it was just going to be an Easter egg that added a vaporwave filter over the game, but it is so much more than that. After I found out what 1980s mode actually is, I decided to make it its own dedicated video. To start off, 1980s mode is awesome and I'm really happy that I gave it a chance. It is essentially a completed version of Yandere Simulator with 10 rivals and a cool vaporwave filter that I had to disable to keep the game from crashing. Compared to the base version of Yandere Simulator, 1980s mode is a bit more basic, and in the introduction to each of your rivals, you're told the way the game wants you to kill them. We'll talk about that later, but one thing I think this version of the game does much better is the tutorial. The base version of Yandere Simulator gives you a menu for your tutorial, and it's very overwhelming in my opinion. But in 1980s mode, the tutorial is amazing. It gives you the basics of the game by having you kill a rival in a bathroom and clean up after yourself. It's very simple, yet very effective, and I was hooked immediately. As I said, there is a canon way to defeat your rivals, and you can find it if you pay attention to the cutscene. But much like the regular game, you can do pretty much whatever you'd like. The way you defeat your rivals determines many factors, such as how on alert the school is. Obvious murder will result in cameras being placed throughout the school, which makes the game harder. It also affects your rank at the end of the game. While all of the rivals in this mode are more basic and follow a similar structure each day, I like that the rivals are all fellow students that tend to blend in more overall, compared to Osana, who kind of suffers from main character syndrome. Figuring out how to eliminate your rivals feels like a puzzle sometimes, which is awesome. Sometimes I'd be able to eliminate them on Monday and have the entire week to grind points, and other times I struggled.
I'm disappointed. I've been informed that you attempted.
On average, it took me anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to beat each rival, making my playtime about 10 hours, and granted, I could have used just one method for each rival, but I tried to follow the method hinted in the cutscene because it makes the gameplay more diverse. While playing the game, I really didn't run into any major performance issue or bugs, aside from this one that makes the screen stay blurry after a cutscene. Overall, I absolutely love 1980s mode, but I do have some criticism. Some of the tasks, such as using the radio to distract teachers, felt very repetitive. Also, you can only do certain things at certain times, and waiting around is a bit boring even with being able to fast forward time. I really wish there was a way to directly skip to the time you want, but hey, at least Flappy Bird exists. I really like that the game allows for mistakes. If you messed up, you can just restart the day or week, and the events don't become canon until after Friday. For this next part of the video, I want to talk about some notable eliminations. The expulsion method gave me a ton of trouble with getting the answer sheet. It took me a good half hour to figure out that I had to put the radio outside during class time to distract the teacher. Putting it in the doorway like I was results in you just getting caught right away, and I just struggled a ton with this.
Put that down! Did you think you could get away with stealing?
Matchmaking was another one I had trouble with since I had trouble finding the boy you were supposed to matchmake, but after I found him it was pretty easy. The befriend method has a stealth mission that takes place in an abandoned asylum, and it gave me a little bit of trouble, but overall it wasn't too bad. Though if I hear the inmate dialogue again, I'm going to lose my mind.
Itchy, tasty, walls closing in.
As I said in my last video, this game has a ton of replayability since there are many ways you can go about eliminating your rivals. Let's talk about the end of the game. 1980's mode has a story. During the tutorial murder, the police came to investigate and found a bit of the victim's blood, which caused an inspector to get involved. At the end of the game, the inspector formally accuses you of doing something to the 10 rivals and you're put on trial. Your actions during the game determine whether you're found innocent or guilty. During my playthrough, I got an A ranking and was found innocent, but, can't really face Senpai after going on trial for murder, so why not just kidnap him? Overall, I absolutely love 1980's mode. It has everything that I wanted out of Yandere Simulator upon hearing about the game back in 2015, and I highly recommend giving it a try. Yandere Simulator overall has had a very interesting and controversial development, and if you want to watch my original video on Yandere Simulator, feel free to click here. A lot of the criticism I had towards the game in my first video doesn't exist in this mode. There's no panty shot mechanic or questionable rivals, and overall 1980's mode proves that Yandere Simulator can and does work. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I hope the base game gets finished someday. Yandere Dev, if you happen to be watching this, you did a really good job with 1980's mode, and I wish you the best when it comes to finishing this game. I'll definitely continue to follow the development of Yandere Simulator. Thank you to everyone who watched this video, as well as my first Yandere Simulator video. Honestly, the first video did way better than I was expecting, and if you enjoy my content, be sure to subscribe. I also stream on Twitch every now and then, so I would love to see you there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you soon.